Hi everybody, this is Osprey from MyChartCoach.com, and in this video we're going to take a look at the marijuana sector. Alright, last night's video, if you caught that, we were on top of the bullish move on Friday for the marijuana sector, and you can see it's all leading up to the October 17th legalization in Canada, and so leading up to the Wednesday event, we're getting a nice cannabis sector rally. As you can see here in this video, we have Cronus Group, Canopy Growth, and TLRY, and they all had their own individual news. So the sector's running, and there's individual news pushing the stocks higher as well. If you look here at Canopy Growth, you can see here on the daily chart, it's at 64 on RSI, so it still has room to run until that 70 overbought level. And if you look back here in the past, it's ran well above 80. Now, Fasto did close above 80 today. It is at 99. It closed near high of day. And so now it needs to stay above 80. If it dropped below 80, that would be a signal that the chart is cooling down. Today there was a bullish close above multiple levels. It closed today above the closing price on the 25th of September, and that was signaling, that does signal more upside potential above this candle here. That's what we were looking for. That was the top of the sideways channel, and so anytime you have a close above the top of the sideways channel, that does many times signal the stock wants to head higher. It also closed above the all-time high close here on the second day of September, and so that signals more upside potential as well. You want to see it stay above 57 now. In after hours trading, it was at 58.02, so that's putting it in blue sky breakout territory. A blue sky breakout is when a stock is hitting new all-time high levels. There's no overhead resistance. There's no history of trading at these levels, so we can't look at the charts to see where it topped out at, where the next resistance levels could be. So when that happens, the key is to follow the intraday charts. If you look down here, there was a giant volume spike today. Check out the volume behind the move. That's super bullish. That's what you always want to see. Notice it's similar to to the big volume spike back here in August, and that was the start of the run. The Canopy Growth was trading below the middle Bollinger Band for multiple days, and then now it broke above. This could be the start of a new push higher. We'll just have to see. If you look down here at MACD on the 12, 26, and 9, the green line here is the MACD line, and the red line is the signal line, and the MACD line is starting to cross over that signal line. This is what we call pinched, and so when the green line crosses over the red line, many times it signals the start of a new uptrend, similar to back here in August when you had the green line was below the red line, and then it crossed over, and then you can see that was the start of the next push. So it's signaling that this could be the next push, but we do have to be on the lookout for potential sell the news. You always have to be on the lookout for that leading up to a big event like this. So on Wednesday people could be taking profits. You just have to see how it's going to play out, but be prepared for that. And let's look at CGC on the monthly chart here. It's hitting 85 right now, and so that is a very frothy level. It's paused previous times when it's hit these levels. So the daily chart's showing a lot of room to run. The monthly charts, really pushing, but hey, they can keep, we'll just have to see. We'll see what happens. If you've got Fasto here at 99, so Fasto is pushing really hard as well. It's on a multi-month run. You've got the candles riding above the pink line there. That's EMA4. They started riding above that level back here in July of 2017, and so as long as that level is holding, the chart's super strong, and it signals just to sit back and keep riding. Just enjoy the ride. If it closes below that 46 level, the downside risk is it could come down there and test EMA 8 at 38.53. Check out the volume. The huge volume behind the last few months has been pouring into Canopy Growth, and so as long as the volume is there and it keeps holding support, it signals more upside potential. If you look here at the 15-minute chart, you can see a really strong push today. There was big volume at the start of the day to really get things going. Notice how the volume spike was was much bigger than the previous days. The high spike, the last few days was just down here around 1 million, and then you just had volume pouring in at the open, and that really kicked it off. And then look at how the volume pushed into the close, how you had the heaviest volume 15-minute candle on the closing candle, and then it pushed after hours. It continued into after hours trading. So we're getting this really strong push into Wednesday. That's just, we'll see if that's going to continue after Wednesday. You always have to be on the lookout, like I said, for sell the news. You're looking here at MACD, and it's crossed over, and it's signaling that it could keep pushing higher. What you want to look out for on this 15-minute chart is just keep an eye on this middle Bollinger Band at 54.95. As long as that's holding the uptrends intact, once it breaks, you could get a retrace down to that 50 simple moving average, which is currently at 51.99. Okay, let's look at Tilray. So yeah, one thing before I get, make sure I don't forget, there is a gap between Friday and today. If you look over here, the previous close was at 148.30, and it was a white closing Marubozu candle, which is a high of day close candle, and so that was the top of the candle, and then low of day is 151. So there's a small gap in between those two levels. Okay, if you look over here, there's a lot of room to run here on RSI at 60.72. I mean, look for how long Tilray stayed above 80 on RSI or 70 on RSI. So being at 60, it's still in that bull zone, and there's plenty of gas in the tank, as we like to say, to keep heading higher. Fasto just got above 80. It can push higher above 80 on Fasto. So this is signaling that the possible start of the next push higher. But we'll have to see for all these marijuana stocks, they're going to have to break resistance. As you can see here, there was a couple of patterns playing out here. There was this descending triangle pattern with horizontal support, and then you have like a symmetrical triangle pattern here, and it's clearly breaking out above resistance right now. The close above the middle Bollinger Band on Friday was your clue. Okay, yeah, it's ready to head higher, and then today it was really nice to see follow through. So as long as that middle Bollinger Band currently at 143.46 holds, the uptrend is intact. Okay, and so the three key levels to break above are going to be the first one is the closing price on the first trading day in October, and as you can see, it closed at 168.40 in after hours trading, so it's currently above that level, and so that's good. So the second level to break is going to be the closing price here on September 20th, and so that's going to put it up there around 178 or so. If it can get above that level, it could run back up into the 200s, because you have up here around 212. That was that high close from back here on the 19th, and so that would be the retrace level, is working its way back to that previous high close. If it can get above the previous resistance levels. If you look here at the upper Bollinger Band at 193, it's always going to be tough to bust through that upper Bollinger Band. Okay, so look down here at the 813 and 5 on the MACD. It's starting a crossover. The 1226 and 9, it still has a little work to do until a bullish crossover. You'd like to see some more volume come into the move, or come into this play, similar to Canopy Growth, to signal that traders are really stoked. If you look here at the 15-minute chart, you can see it's filling the jar. Okay, so at 168.40 after hours, that puts it about right here. And so once it gets up to right around 173, that's the high close from back there on the first, this jar will be filled. This move back to that level will be completed, and then it's going to have to break out above the top of that level to head higher. So keep an eye on 173. That's going to be a big level to close above and turn into support. Okay, let's look here at Cronus Group. So Cronus Group had an awesome day as well. Yeah, and it pushed really hard in after hours trading. Yeah, so yeah, with the news, with the Israeli company and the skincare, they have a lot going on. And don't forget that they're also are working with MedMen, and so they do have they're positioned well for the U.S. market for cannabis as well, and for dispensaries. And so, yeah, if you look here, Cronus Group is up 19% on the day. So this was a huge day. And keep in mind, with Canopy Growth, Tilray, Cronus Group, NBEV that I'll be showing next, they all trade options, and so the the equity did really good at 19%, and you had a lot of call options that were up 100, 200% today. So congrats to all the options traders. indicators on the marijuana stocks. That's super cool. They're delivering nice gains right now. And so at 58 on RSI, there's a lot of room to run. You know, look at the last time it was below 50. It was below 50 here, and then it broke above, and that was the start. The start, that was down here, you know, the start of the run. So this could possibly be the start of the next push higher, but it has to break resistance. You know, as you can see here, it has topped out since that run above 70 up here in the 60s. So it's going to have to get through this resistance level. Now you have Fasto back above 80. Once again, needs to stay above 80. You know, this could be the start of the next push higher. You know, we'll see if it can stay above 80 on Fasto. Down here on ADX with plus DI and minus DI, notice how the green line plus DI is crossing over the red line minus DI. That's a signal of the bulls taking over and a possible start of the next push higher. Similar to this move back here. Okay, if we look on the chart, that's lined up perfectly with that what I just showed you with the RSI. And so when you get the indicators lined up like that, you know, it's a good sign that you know the charts are signaling more upside potential. Okay, so now we have at 12:51 in after hours trading, so that's putting it up here with that key resistance level to break, which is back here on August the 29th, the closing price right here. If you can get above that level, then the next level will be this high close over here on the 20th, which is right around, I'm calling it 1375, and so that's going to be the big level. So yeah, if you can get up there, if you can get above this 1275 level, then you have this 1375 zone. That's going to be the big level to break. It's going to have to close above that high close level from September, and if it can do that, that's going to be a signal, you know, that it could keep pushing higher. What has to happen once you make a high, you have to keep making new high closes. First things first, though, it's going to have to stay above this middle Bollinger Band at 1095. If you can turn that level into support, a new uptrend should begin. If it dropped below that level, that would signal downside risk. You could see it was in a downtrending channel, and it bounced off of the green line, the 50-day simple moving average. We had put out a lot of alerts that 50-day simple moving average was the reload zone if support held, and it did hold. In that you know, when you get a retrace to that level, many times it's a good reload zone as long as the share price can stay above that level. It did have a shakeout last week on Thursday. The one red flag is the gap between high of day on Friday and low of day today. You know, if the share price did drop below the middle Bollinger Band, the downside risk would be a gap fill. Okay, if we look here on the 15-minute chart, you can see the jar filled back to 1251. You know, and after hours trading, you've got the high up here at 12. The high close on this chart was right here in this red line, and so it closed right at that level today, you know, around 1175 or so. And so it's completed the move back to the October 1st level. And so you can see how it looks like a jar here. Once you break out above the top of the jar, you need to stay above. And so you really want to see it stay above $12. If it dropped below 12, that would signal weakness. It can start cooling down. I mean, it is a very parabolic push today. They're pushing super hard. Look at that volume that poured in. So really good volume heading into the close. But yeah, keep an eye on 1150. You know, drop below EMA 4, and that'll be your first clue that's cooling down. Notice how it was holding that pink line the entire day today. So once you see the pink line fail to hold EMA 4 on my charts, that's going to be your clue. Okay, it's a change in trend from yesterday. It might take a little breather. Okay, let's look at NBEV here. So NBEV did really well today as well. It performed awesome. You know, it held that middle Bollinger Band. So congrats everybody. You know, it's pushing higher. It closed up 19% on good volume. You have RSI at 59. Yeah, it has Fasto here at 61. So this has room to run until that 80 level. It has a hard time staying above 80. So keep that in mind. Right now, it looks like it's working its way up to this gap. It's at 752 close and after hours trading. At 739, right there, 750. It's got a little ways to go until this gap. The gap's like right around 805 to 810, something like that. I guess I have it on the next one here. What was that at? It's like Yeah, there it is right there. It's between 8 and 820, and so yeah, so that's going to be the next target zone. Is the bottom of the gap. A gap's always tough to fill, an upward gap. If it does fill the gap and get to above the gap, it has to stay above the top of the gap level. And if that happens, then you have the closing price on the first trading day in October, that $9 level. It's going to be all about getting above $9 and turning it into support to take NBEV to the next level. If it stalls out at these levels, that could signal a temporary top. Now, the middle Bollinger Band that I was talking about is the dotted purple line. Notice how this candle hit this purple line right here and bounced right off of it. That's the 20-day simple moving average. As long as that level holds, it signals the uptrend is intact. Notice what happened over here. There was a gap between high of day on this candle and low of day on this candle. This candle came down and filled the gap. The gap was filled and support held. The bottom of the gap held. It bounced off the middle Bollinger Band. This was the load right here. And yeah, so congrats to everybody following the technical analysis, and boom, rewarded here with the push higher. Keep in mind that that middle Bollinger Band at 618 is the stop loss level. If there's a close below, it will be a risk to hold. Okay, if you look here at NBEV on the 15-minute chart, you can see here it's filling the jar back to this $9 level. So yeah, right now at 7:52 and after hours trading, that's putting it right up here with this high close from October 8th. And so it has to get above this 760 level, and then you have this very small gap, okay, between these two candles that we just talked about, which is between 8 and 815, 820. And so it's going to be all about breaking above that, trading above 820. If it can get up there and trade in the 820s, it has a good shot of running back up to 9. If you see it stalling out in that 8 to 820 level, that's where it could take a breather. Okay, thank you very much for viewing this video. If you'd like to learn more about charts and technical analysis, please come check out the chat. Yeah, as you can see here, NBEV had, the October 19th $10 strike had a 200% gain today. That was nice. There were lots that had really good gains. TLRY, Cronus, CGC, the call options all had 150 to 200% gain contracts today. The biggest winner, though, was MJ. MJ, the ETF, had the highest percentage gains for the call options today. And so, yeah, that's a nice way to play it, is trading the entire sector, or at least this is a basket of stocks within the sector. And it also has exposure to other sectors as well. But as you can see here, look at the gains. The gains for MJ, 300%, 308%, 290, 300, 425, 200%. So they rocked it out today. So yeah, and the other ones did too. The Canopy Growth, TLRY, they all rocked it out as well. Yeah, so congrats to everybody that's trading the marijuana stock options, because that's a cool way to get more bang for your buck if you're on the right side of the trade, and you have and you have a good entry point, and yeah, and you lock in gains when they're on the table. If you look here at CGC, up over 300%. So yeah, very cool. All right, thanks for viewing this video. If you'd like to learn more about charts and technical analysis, please come check out the chat. Thank you.